But right now, let's get to the Miller Lite Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline. He's with us every Tuesday morning at this time to talk about the world of valuables and collectibles and antiques, and you name it. The show is called What's It Worth? And my guest is Barry Blank from National Estate Jewelry Buyers in East Brunswick. Good morning, Barry. Great to speak to you today. How are you?
I am really wonderful today.
Good to speak with
you.
How
are you?
And I'm good. Thank you so much. Our topic today is something that I've heard of, but I have to admit I know absolutely nothing about. And we're going to be talking about pearls today. Now, all I know about pearls is they come from oysters. Maybe that's all that most people know about pearls, right? But talk about that. Where do pearls that you see in the jewelry store or that you sell at your store, where do they come from?
Pearls, as we know them, come from an oyster when a foreign piece of material is put in or accidentally gets into the oyster. And what the oyster does when this grain of sand gets into the oyster, it secretes a protection, because what that grain of sand or bead does is it irritates the oyster, and the oyster takes all of its energy and it puts this really beautiful crystalline structure around that and creates a smooth surface for the pearl, and it grows over many, many years.
That's remarkable. So it is formed completely in nature, and the raw pearl is perfectly round and smooth, Barry. Is that true?
Well, the raw pearl is not always. Matter of fact, very few are actually perfectly round and smooth. Most are craggy and have little indents, or they're funny shaped. That's one of the reasons that pearls have so much value in the market, because it takes hundreds of pearls to come up with one. So, and natural pearls are even more rare to get these beautiful round pearls out of. So I guess the question is, many people ask me, well, I want a pearl necklace. What's the difference between a natural pearl necklace and a cultured pearl necklace? Mm-hmm. And the main difference is that the natural pearls come from a grain of sand that was embedded into the pearl by some freak of nature. The cultured pearls come from a bead, and it used to be a bead from a shellfish on the Mississippi River, really, that they would then round in many different shapes and send to Japan for culturing and inserting into pearls, into the oysters.
That's remarkable. So there's no way to make an artificial pearl. A pearl can only come from nature, a true pearl, right?
A pearl can come from nature, but they now have there's a third class of pearls, which is imitation, and you've heard me talk about imitation. Imitation rubies are made from anything that looks red. Imitation pearls, and you're sitting down, can be made from fish scales. They can be made from plastic. They could be made from glass. As long as they look iridescent and pearly colors, they're considered imitation pearls.
Gotcha. What determines the price and the value? Is this something where size plays a role? Is there maybe a type of pearl that is more rare than another? How is that determined?
To make a joke, size matters, yes.
Okay.
But yes, the larger the pearl, the more round, the better the surface, the higher the luster, the more expensive that pearl will be. It's very rare to have a pearl above 7-8 millimeters, which I don't know the inch conversion, but I've seen pearls 20, 25, 30 millimeters. And in order to get that big, you have to have an ultra big oyster. And very, very often when they're growing that big, the oyster does not survive. So the larger the pearl, the better the quality and luster, and the better the surface, the more expensive that pearl is.
Is there anything similar along the way that diamonds are appraised, where if there's flaws or imperfections in the pearl, it impacts the value?
Well, Mikimoto, who is the world's most renowned, the originator of the cultured pearl over 100 years ago, he developed a grading system which starts at a single A, then A+, then double A, then double A+, then triple A, then triple A+, and then gem. So in order to get higher on the system, it has to be extremely round, it has to be free of any kind of blemish, and extremely high in luster, or I'll call it reflective qualities. In a gem pearl, it's almost a mirror finish.
Okay.
So
how about when it comes to the value when it comes to jewelry, because you think about a necklace, of course, that means there are holes that are drilled in the pearl and they're put on a necklace versus a pearl that, I don't know, is there a typical almost like a diamond or a ring setting that a pearl, this way there would be no holes or anything done to the pearl for the mounting? Does that impact the value at all?
Well, it only impacts the value when you're talking about I shouldn't say only. It's mostly affected when you have a natural pearl, or cultured pearls, unless they're very large and very beautiful, won't be affected that much because they're made to be drilled, and they're made to be put into necklaces or rings with a post of the pearl. But I will say that if it's a gem quality pearl, cultured or natural, there are ways to set it in prongs that would not have the pearl drilled.
Okay, and why is it so important to keep, if you have any pearl jewelry, keep it away from wine or keep it away from vinegar? Why is that such an important thing?
People ask me all the time, if I drop a pearl into a glass of wine like I see in 007, will it destroy the pearl? And I think it was a glass of wine. But the only time vinegar, if wine is old and it turns to vinegar, there may be enough acetic acid in that vinegar to dissolve the pearl. Usually not enough unless it's really bad wine. But if you do drop a pearl into a thing of vinegar, I guarantee you it's going to start bubbling and hissing because the crystals that a pearl is made of are calcite and aragonite, which is an interesting terms, and they're actually bicarbonate based. So bicarbonate, you may remember making rocket ships that pump up with water when you were a kid.
Sure.
Water with bicarbonate, with and acid, which is vinegar, and the pearl will buzz up and bubble up until the pearl is gone.
Wow! So I could dissolve a pearl completely if I drop it in vinegar. Is that right? Wow.
Yes, and you'll be left with the original grain of sand or the original bead that was inserted into the oyster.
How cool is that? Not that I want anybody to try that, of course, but that's just kind of a cool thing in nature there. That's really awesome. And, of course, don't forget about National Estate Jewelry Buyers. You'll find them on Route 18 in East Brunswick, right next to FedEx office. Check out the website, topprices4gold.com. Of course, talk to Barry about house calls, bank appointments that are always available. And remember that every single time with National Estate Jewelry Buyers, they make you an offer from an expert and will never ask you how much you want. It always has been and always will be unethical to ask, and that will never happen with National Estate Jewelry Buyers. Barry Blank, always a pleasure, my friend. And, of course, Tuesday is the free verbal evaluation days, so make sure you stop by today and say hi. Always great to talk to you, Barry, and thanks so much for a cool discussion on pearls today. I really appreciate it. We'll talk next week, all right?
All right. Have a good week.